Hello and welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And this is the deadline day special, what was meant to be just a normal Manchester City preview. Uh, Funny thing, I didn't realize that deadline day was today until yesterday. But anyways, I thought it was on the 1st of September, but I probably got that wrong. That might have been last year. Big up to Charlie instantly. Big up to yourself as always. Make sure to like the video, people. Make sure to subscribe if you are new. Thank you for the support as of recently. The road to 1K is on at GVO Mikes on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok if you want to follow me. And yeah, let's get straight into it. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about the transfers. Carlos Soler, James Ward-Prowse, Naya Aguerd, back to Okorne, Carney Chukwuemeka, and etc. And the Manchester City preview will be doing our normal preview of the game. You know, we'll be talking about, I don't even know if the press conference has even gone on, but the press conference that we'll dip into the FPO as we always do every week now, every match preview. But let's get straight into it. No more normal chit chat. First of all, let me get the tweet up. Yeah, let's get this one up. First of all, obviously, Carlos Soler to West Ham United was a here we go. This deal was always pending to happen. We'll watch a Carlos Soler comp as well. We'll come to that a bit later though. But yeah, this was always bound to happen. This deal has been in the pipeline for a very long time. Obviously, we talked about a couple of weeks ago when Aaron Wan-Bissaka signed that. Even after that, the manager still wanted 2 players in each position, and he clearly wasn't happy with the number 8 position. Now, I'm sure some of you, as well as me, would have wanted to think that that means he doesn't like Suchek. Mr. Number 28 himself, and that he wants 2 players in a number 8 position that he can trust and stuff like that. Unfortunately, James Ward-Prowse has gone out instead of Suchek, but we'll come to that in a minute. But yeah, this deal's been in the pipeline for time. Obviously, we don't have the funds to pay for it this season, so to comply with FFP and PSR and all that, the buy option apparently is going to be similar to the Tadibo thing, where the option will become an obligation due to how many games he'll play and stuff like that. So we'll pay for the money next season. Pretty much, he's a West Ham player permanently. It's just that he's on loan for this season. I've never seen Soler play. I don't know how I feel about it. James Ward-Prowse leaving instead of 28. Yeah, that's my only problem with James Ward-Prowse leaving, which we'll come on to in a minute, is he hasn't survived and 28 has. But I know the reasons why. Well, I figured out the reasons why in my head, right? Like why that's happened, but we'll come on to it as well. And obviously, Lopetegui, let's just talk about them two together, because obviously also the James Ward-Prowse thing happened as well. That was also given a here we go. We heard yesterday Nottingham Forest were interested. Apparently Fulham and Southampton were also interested. Of course, Southampton were interested. But Nottingham Forest agreed deal to sign James Ward-Prowse from West Ham. Here we go as well. Loan deal almost being completed, waiting on formal stages. The problem with this is that there's no buy option or obligation, which doesn't really make any sense in my opinion, but is kind of, I don't know what the wages are saying. Also, I don't even think he's going to play that much. I'm just being honest, just because Nottingham Forest signed a lot of players. They've got Dominguez, they've got Yates, they've got Sangare. Obviously, Ward-Prowse is better than Ryan Yates, but they have a lot of players in those positions. They have a lot of players. So I don't even know if he's going to play it, because his stock is probably going to go down, and we're probably going to have to get a less of a price of him, because nobody wants that big check idiot. That was what I was going to come on to as well. If I was literally on a Bournemouth channel just before this as well, like talking about this. When you look at this in general, Lopetegui wanted an English core, like he did at Wolves, and Ward-Prowse was even rumoured to be one of the contenders for captain. Right in the early stage, reported by The Athletic and Rashane Thomas in May. And when it comes to this stuff, he would have ideally wanted Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse, whether you like him or not, he does have his deficiencies as well, but he suits his style of play more than Suchek. He's not good enough either. He's not. But if I was to get rid of one of the two, then I'm getting rid of Suchek any day of the week. Because Ward-Prowse can at least pass the ball sideways. Suchek cannot do that. The problem is with Ward-Prowse, he's very basic, and we're going to need better in this system. It looks like we've got better in this system, but let's have a big talk because Ward-Prowse had interest, as the clubs I named before. Nottingham Forest was one of them. Fulham was one of them. Southampton was one of them. So it's very easy to move on a player to then get in another player. We needed to, if Lopetegui wanted Carlos Soler that much, and we needed to move on one of the number 8s. The problem is, this stinks because I'm happy with the Carlos Soler signing, but this stinks because it's a loan. It's just a loan, so there isn't any option. So even if Forest want him, we're gonna have to negotiate for a long time if he does well there, or we just sell him for a big price. If his stock manages to go up, the best thing he needs to do well there. We need to wish him well there so we can actually make some money from it next season. Because if he's being touted out instead of Souček, then he's clearly not highly thought by the manager. We're probably going to have to upgrade to that position again next season anyway. This is a long fucking process. But yeah. Mate, I hope you get UCL this season, and I'm being for real. Our window was terrible. Fab said things would happen, and they didn't. PSR screwed us, and we missed out on a lot of good targets. Yeah, that Gita Reader guy went to Leipzig because Simikan left. Watch him score his first free kick for Forest. Joy, it would be typical West Ham, wouldn't it? Big up, Mike's. Big up to yourself, Warrior. I'm probably going to watch 2 more streams, including yours today, since fucking hell this deadline day is. Yeah. This deadline day is weird, man. It's just weird. Like, it's been better than the past few deadline days. We're looking for a neutral aspect. It's been weird. Like, obviously, the Sancho things happened. The Osimhen saga, the Ivan Toney saga, the Raheem Sterling saga. But yeah, this deadline day, like, it's been the most eventful West Ham deadline day since the Lingard thing. I think Lingard was signed on deadline day, and that was years ago. We don't sign anyone on deadline day usually because, David Moyes. David Moyes, that was him summed up. Wait until later, we might get a player. It's not going to be exciting. We'll get a Lingard, a Vlasic, a Krau, etc. This is my thing with this transfer, though. This is my problem. It's the fact that we should be forcing out players. Ward-Prowse is way more suited as a squad player coming in for Carlos Soler than a Souček is. We've seen his performances. He's not good enough. Doesn't suit this style of play. This isn't it. But you wanted Carlos Soler that much that we had to force someone out. The problem is as well that puts one down on a homegrown factor as well. So even if you wanted to get another signing done, I know Nayef Aguerd might be going, and we'll get onto that, and Maxwell Cornet might be going. So maybe you won't suffer with homegrown options as much as well. But that's also a factor. I also believe that we don't have a set piece taker. Not that Ward-Prowse is going to play anyway. But we're making Jared Bowen take out-swinging corners, from the left-hand side. And none of them have really hit. Like, no one can take corners in our team. And that's something we're gonna struggle with. Mate, you would have been our player if it wasn't for PSR. That's why they don't want anyone doing well. Us at Newcastle were bullied this window. That's the problem. Like, you gotta be so smart with your funds if you don't get that much income that it's just long for anyone that isn't really a Big Six club. This better mean that we stop seeing Souček start and just see him being used as an impact, in which case I can understand this. That's my thing. I don't trust this manager necessarily to bench Souček for Soler, but if you wanted Soler that much, you play him. And listen, a midfielder, Paquetá, Alvarez, and Soler is perfectly balanced and is what you need for this side. And, like, come on, like, even in the Bournemouth game, in the Bournemouth game, we saw Souček drop deep, like, instead of being a second striker, and that kind of helped him build up, but he's not a build-up player. So when he was coming deep to receive the ball, he gave the ball away. Because guess what? He's shit on the ball. For some reason, there's this group of people that don't want to deny that he's shit on the ball, but he is. But yeah, with Carlos Soler, that's the missing piece to the puzzle. We've pretty much addressed every position apart from left back. If we're being greedy, we've addressed every position apart from left back. That is as simple as that. It's as simple as that. The thing is, with this Carlos Soler situation, he needs to play. And he's going to take time to integrate as well because he hasn't played. Like, he hasn't played. I don't think he's played that much recently. And also, he hasn't played in the Premier League ever before. He hasn't played in the Premier League ever. From what I've seen of him, and I've seen very few things of Carlos Soler. I'm not going to say I've watched like 10 games of him. But he's a good player. He's just a decent footballer. He's going to fit our side. He's just going to fit connecting the ball to the wingers. That's all we need in this side. That's all I'm asking for. Everything extra, We'll see in the Premier League. He's not going to play against Manchester City. Unfortunately, we're going to have to still see Souček for that. The problem is we're still going to have to put up with another few games with the guy. So I'm sure Lopetegui's going to do the whole thing of, we're slowly integrating him in and all this. And you can't slowly integrate someone without playing them. So we'll see. We will see. Yeah, he is just not a footballer. Like that is it. He's just not a footballer. And it's painful to watch. Everyone saw on Wednesday, in the first half, on last Saturday, the week before that, everyone saw that he's not a footballer. But everyone saw this last season and the season before as well. That's the thing I'm going to get into in a minute. I'm a bit of a spoiler for my starting lineup. This is the midfield I want. But I don't think we're going to see it. And I'll come on to what Lopetegui might line up with as well. So we'll see if James Ward-Prowse actually does anything at Nottingham Forest or whether he actually plays or not. I don't know who they have this weekend, but I doubt he's going to be in the squad. And we're going to probably even have to wait till after the international break to even see how he does at Forest as well. Obviously, he isn't going to play against West Ham, luckily, because it's just a loan. He'll play against Southampton, though. He'll play against Southampton, and we'll see if he scores a free kick against Southampton and see what kind of reception he gets from there. I do think that I can judge it quite level-headed wise by just saying that he isn't good enough for what we need, but he's not as bad as some of the other players that we need to move out. I think last season, I don't really blame last season on him necessarily, but even for the system that we're trying to play, I understand why he would be moved on. Last season, he played on the left wing a lot, played in the number 10 a lot, which was very uncomfortable to watch. It's not a number 10, not a left winger, definitely not a left winger, but Moyes was just shoehorning him in just for his set pieces. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. Good luck to him. I'm not too upset, but I understand why people were, as much as I was happy with the signing last year, I understand why people were even saying then that much money for somebody who's like in his 30s isn't great business. And to be fair to them, they were right in the end, weren't they? But let's get on to the next headline that I managed to find. And it was coming from The Guardian and was confirmed by ex-West Ham employee afterwards as well, is that I don't know what it's saying right now, and it looks like this was going to be very unlikely anyway. West Ham are interested in signing Cardi Chukwuemeka on loan deal for PSG Carlos also agreed in principle. We already know the second part. He's a better footballer than Souček, but not as big of an impact off the bench compared to Souček. That's the copium I'm on. Yeah, if you want to bring someone off the bench, Souček is better. That is for sure. But also, if you want someone that's actually got more attributes to what you need, I think Ward-Prowse is the guy. Speaking about your club, Solar is a good signing for you lot. I think so as well. We just need to integrate him as soon as possible as well. Needs to start, needs to come in, doesn't need to make an impact necessarily this season, but just needs to get used to how we're trying to play and get used to his teammates. It's the perfect type of player that Edson Alvarez needed. Edson Alvarez can just focus on winning the ball. Carlos Soler can focus on just distributing the ball to the wingers. And hopefully this means the wingers that we have, the Bowens, the Kuduses, the Somervilles, the Guilhermes, if he plays, they will all actually get the ball once in a while. And same with the striker as well. Now let's get on to Cardi Chukwuemeka as well. This guy is a good player. He's a very talented player. Yes, as you said, Charlie, he does suffer with a couple injuries, but let's say we was to sign him, he would be in our squad anyway, so he probably wouldn't even play as much. He did come off a big injury against us when we beat Chelsea last season. He actually scored against us. The thing is, though, he's actually so good on the ball. He would then take up another place for number 28, Thomas Souček, to get out. Like, the thing is, this signing would have only had happened if we had got a couple more outgoings. Like, listen, we are 45 minutes away from deadline day. So it doesn't look like we're going to sign anyone else, which is fine. It's fine. I wasn't expecting anyone on deadline day. I wasn't actually expecting anyone to sign today because I didn't even know it was deadline day today. As I said earlier in the stream, I thought deadline day was on the 1st of September. Until yesterday, I didn't even know it was today. I wasn't going to do anything. I was like, but am I going to do a stream on Sunday about deadline day? Probably not. I didn't even realize it was on Friday instead. But Cardi Chukwuemeka is really good on the ball. Really good at dribbling, driving with the ball, etc. Someone that I would take at West Ham and someone that would suit the system. Someone that it would give a midfield a whole new sense of dynamism as well, because like it will give us more of an attacking threat. Think about what Kudus can do in the middle as well. This guy's an alternative to that. Not as good as a dribbler as Kudus, because Kudus is special, but he's such a talented player. I would take him any day. But the only problem again as well, the thing is, it will be on loan. I'm not trying to develop a player for Chelsea just so they can flip him and sell him for a bigger price to another club. I'm also not trying to have this player unless there's a buy option clause in there, so we can have first choice and first dibs on whether we want him or not. If we're going to turn him down, fair enough. Also, as well, if we're going to sign somebody on loan, they have to play, or it's a loan with an obligation. I would like preferably a loan with an obligation if we was to get him. We're not going to get him, but let's say we was to get him and we could just pay for him next season. I'm fine with that because I know how good he is and I believe in how good he is. So I don't think that would be much of a risk. And given how young he is, if you bid for a loan with an obligation for him, it's not a risk at all. It's not a risk at all. And it would fit in our homegrown quota as well. And he would suit our system. Like if we had signed him, it would be a great bonus, but it's not going to happen. But that was reported earlier by Jacob Steinberg and was confirmed by ex-West Ham employee. Player not certain to sign, ex-West Ham employee said like 9 hours ago. However, if we get Soler, just an alternative option for now, and depends on player departures. And we didn't get enough player departures today. Speaking of player departures, let's go to this tweet if it actually loads anytime soon. A player that will be leaving is Maxwell Cornet. Speaking of injury-prone players. Maxwell Cornet is expected to join Southampton. I didn't actually think this guy would leave. Another loan, by the way. A loan with an option to buy. I don't think anyone was going to risk purchasing him. Obviously, Burnley were interested as well. All these clubs that we got these players from are interested in going back to their other clubs, etc. But the problem is with Maxwell Cornet is he didn't look sharp in pre-season. He was going to be a fifth-choice winger behind Guilherme, Kudus, Somerville, and Bowen. As much as I would have liked a redemption arc, and I've said many times of how I would have liked his career to go better at West Ham, especially under the Moyes situation and stuff like that as well. I don't think he got enough playing time when he came back from injury, especially when you had Ben Rama and Fornal stinking out and we had no left side for a very long time. Obviously, the Carlos Soler emojis from ex-West Ham employee. We haven't got that yet. He said he's just waiting, like the confirmation. So we'll see if that comes about as well. But back onto Maxwell Cornet, I would have liked this to go much better. He scored a goal and got an assist the couple of times he played last season. He contributed. He actually pretty much saved us against Baka Topola away. Him and Souček right at the end. The only one to put an actual good cross in, and I was from the right-hand side, which is technically not his preferred position either. I think he lost a lot of pace due to coming back off the injury and then having a lack of game time straight after that. It didn't help. It didn't help his fitness or whatever. So, yeah, good luck to Maxwell Cornet. Hopefully, he's not going to be in our plans anyway, even if he does spectacularly well, unfortunately for him. But want him to do well there, just so that Southampton can buy him on a permanent deal. And then again, it also depends if Southampton stay up as well. The thing is, a lot of these players like Ward-Prowse and Cornet are going to leave next season anyway, because we're going to have to sell players to sign players anyway next season. So I think the likes of Ward-Prowse will go, Cornet will go. Hopefully 28 goes. Number 5 will leave on a free. Kurt Zuma's gone this window. We're going to talk about Naif Aguerd now. Let's talk about Naif Aguerd. Because I don't know what's happening with him. I don't know how this has progressed. Whether this has progressed or not, let me have a look. Because I haven't got an update. Well, I haven't seen an update, sorry. I'm not an ITK. But this was reported by Jacob Steinberg, Dharma Chef, and also again confirmed by ex-West Ham employee that what's it called? That Naif Aguerd will be moving to Real Sociedad. Again, another loan. A lot of loans. I don't know why Man United has been the hashtag of this. Real Sociedad are in advanced talks to sign West Ham United defender Naif Aguerd, a deal under discussion for an initial loan as per. So that's why he rejected all them Saudi deals then. That's why he rejected all them Saudi deals, because he wanted to go to a club of a different caliber, Um, Real Sociedad actually plays to a really good level as well. So I'm very surprised that they want, a bum like Aguerd. But however, if we look at this overall, this would mean that we'd have three centre backs left. Now, people need to stop panicking about the Kurt Zuma thing because he's completed his medical, and also the Saudi window doesn't end until the 2nd of September. So he should be gone anyway. And then we'd have four centre backs. As much as I wanted Aguerd gone, we've waited way too late to actually get him over the line to sell him. That's been my problem. Um, and the reason why that's a big problem then is because we're left with three centre backs. And yes, Edson Alvarez can play there. But that is not good enough because eventually there's going to be a lot of games within the Christmas period. And yes, listen, Mavropanos, Kilman, and Tadiba are good options, but you want that extra option. Unfortunately, Trevor Chalobah's gone to Crystal Palace, which is someone who I would have loved to get. And he was obviously trying to hope out for a bigger club than both of us, but that didn't work out. So we had a chance there, but apparently, I think we rejected him. But I would have loved to get. I was about to say Nathaniel Chalobah. Jesus Christ, not him. Trevor Chalobah. Because obviously, I've been wanting him since the start of the window, man. Like, I think he's a good player. I don't think he's much worse than what Chelsea have at this current moment in time. Obviously, you've got people that are pretending to be ITKs within the West Ham Twitter space that are pretending to act like they know what's going on and trying to hint towards certain things happening. They said we were going to get Duran and stuff like that. Guys, please stop looking at ITKs, random ITKs on Twitter that try and buff up their bio to pretend like they're in the know. If you're going to want to listen to West Ham news, just listen to ex-West Ham employee or Darmesh, because Darmesh actually worked with ex-West Ham employee on his Patreon, from what I know. So only listen to really like the people that are actually properly in the know. Not some people on Twitter that are just trying to blow up of, fake news stories and then people actually believe them. But again, this makes no sense. But this would be another person that would be gone next season for us to then get funds to sign other players. We're definitely going to sign another centre back next year. That's for sure, because he's going to go, and we'll see if Mavropanos will be eventually happy with just being a squad player, whilst he'll be eventually benched for Max Kilman and Tadibo, etc. as well. But yeah, Aguerd, he's another one that's potentially going to leave. Put your thoughts of every news headline in the comments as well. I'm going to look to see if there's any other things I missed out, whether it's to do with West Ham or not. I've gone through Carly Chukwuemeka, Aguerd, stuff like that as well. I'm going to just see. Oh yeah, there's another player that denied actually rejected leaving West Ham United. Let's talk about him. None other than someone who made a name for himself for being very unknown and stuff like that is Andy Irving. So reported by Rashane Thomas. As it stands, Andy Irving is set to stay at West Ham. The midfielder had plenty of options, but wants to fight for his place. Yeah. This is weird. The reason why this is weird, because I think he's okay. From what I saw in pre-season, he's okay. He's okay. He's an okay player. But I don't know why you would reject. Listen, you must believe in yourself. But you're at the age of 23, 24, roughly, I think. You need to get playtime. Oh, everyone is, Charlie. Everyone is. Quite literally everyone. But you're not going to play. Because as much as we think you're better than 28, the manager would have played you by now. Because you had a pre-season. Freddie Potts is better, in my opinion, than Andy Irving. But he's gone on loan. I would have respected even a loan for Andy Irving. But he's a better option than 28. However, if we wanted someone like an Andy Irving, and obviously the club would try to loan him out, etc., whatever, then there would have been no point of loaning out Ward-Prowse. But whatever. Listen, he played well in the game against the Austrian team. He played well against Wolves, I think it was, and then He was quite average against Palace. He obviously scored against Dagenham and Redbridge from outside the box. You can see he has a strike on him, a curl on him, etc. Obviously, Lewis Orford is still at the club as well as an option if we really are struggling. But I think this guy's going to realise he's not going to play. And I think he's going to realise that when it comes to January, he's going to have to find a move. And I think he's going to know that by January. I'm not a fan of the manager already, if I'm honest. I'll be real. I'm not a fan of what I've seen so far. Like I'm not a fan of what I've seen so far, and I'm gonna go off your point. It's the use of 28. I think we're both frustrated at that, Charlie, and the use of the old crop in general. And yes, it is 3 games in. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not a big fan. However, this manager has kind of made his own bed to lie in it. He's been backed. He's had all these transfers in. He's got pretty much every player he's wanted. And he's got something to prove after the Wolves spell, after the Sevilla spell, and stuff like that, to then get a club back into Europe and really challenge for the big stuff. I don't like the way he's lined up players in the lineups I've seen so far. I've not liked one lineup that I've seen in the 3 games that I've seen it. He's meant to play some form of possession-based football, but there's been almost as many long and direct passing as there has been in the David Moyes era, which is a big problem for me. A huge problem. It's a huge problem. I don't like it. I don't like what I'm seeing so far. I need to see an outline of something that we can really progress with for us to be effective. But I haven't seen that so far. Oh, fuck's sake. My internet can't be cutting out now. Give me a sec. We'll take this down for a sec. Sorry for the lag, people, but as Lewis does say, trust the progress, not the process, and I don't see an awful lot of progress. That's respectable. I actually really agree with that, and that's my problem. It's a lot of it's a bit of glitter on shit of last season. You just sprinkled glitter on a bit of shit. That is exactly what it is. You're playing a couple of shit players, the Czech boys, etc. Mainly the Czech boys for me. And yeah, Antonio has been terrible in the games that he's played as well this season. But you kind of sprinkled a bit of glitter on it by including these players that can play out from the back. And we're actually more organised defensively, and we're just as bad going forward. So we're more organised, playing higher up the pitch, defending compact, attacking wise. I'm defending really well. But it's everything going forward that's the problem. We've only conceded 2 goals so far. At least it's been 3 games. Still, we shouldn't really have conceded the 2 goals that we did concede against Aston Villa, especially. But that's kind of the problem. That's kind of the problem now. Like, you've got all the players: Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, Fulkirk, Somerville, Guido Rodriguez, Carlos Soler coming in, Guilherme. You've got all the players. You've got more than even I expected you to get in the first season. As much as we needed to address all these things, it was more than I expected you to get. We're moving quick. The here we goes don't even hit for me anymore. Because we're moving so good with the structure and the director of football-wise that it doesn't really hit for me anymore. Because I know we're going to do this. Because we're moving quick. We know what we're doing in transfer windows. I can completely trust the off-the-pitch stuff. Like, in terms of the structure above, the transfer-wise. I don't know about tickets and stuff like that, the owners and what they want to do and behind the scenes and stuff like that. But when it comes to the transfers, I can really trust it. It's now on the pitch. You got to give me a reason to trust you. And it was like the red flags were almost there. Like, as soon as we saw it against Villa, like Thomas Souček was playing as a second striker. I don't know how many times I have to say this. It was pretty much like a meaty 4-4-2. This isn't the 1940s. You cannot be playing 1940s football. But that's what we're pretty much playing. And it was terrible to watch. I don't mind terrible football to watch if you actually win, but like, terrible football has got to have a meaning to it. And in this era of football, you cannot even really do that, if I'm being completely honest with you. And listen, Paella Moyes, I don't know. I think Paella Moyes is Rafa Benitez, but I think if we have Rafa Benitez, I'd rather kill myself. But it's a glitter on shit, isn't it? It's just like we get the ball, we play it from the back, but then the midfield don't come and receive the ball. Pause, and then the ball just gets not long then direct. We lose the ball and quick turnover. Big up to yourself, Jonathan. Hope you're well, bro. But that is what it looks like, really. And that's the problem now. Like, I can see from the Bournemouth game, as much as I complained a lot, that if we had the better players and we lined up with the way he structured the team, we could play much better. Like, with the players that we want to start. So I could see that he was actually playing a proper 4-3-3, that we were going short a lot more than we were in the league games. If we play like that a bit more often, then that's fine. I don't really want us to go long as much just because we have a tall striker up front. I don't want him to be used as some B-Tech Andy Carroll. I want him to be used properly. He's good with his feet as well. You saw the way he flicked it around for Somerville. But we will see. We will see. Hope you're doing well as well. I'm doing fine, bro. I think your team will change when Alvarez comes in. I think even against Bournemouth, that like we saw that as well. Like when Edson Alvarez came in, it looked a lot different. It's just the fact that he had Ward Prowse next to him and the 28 bozo on the other side of him as well, and that didn't help. And that didn't help him at all. Because the ball wasn't getting to the front three. The ball wasn't getting to the front three. So Bowen, Somerville, and Fulcrook were suffering. Mohamed Kudus has suffered. All these players in our attack have suffered. Usually I just say this about the strikers, but because we're playing a 4-3-3, it's based around 3 attackers this time, not 1 attacker, which is what we were used to seeing under Moyes. And all 3 attackers were getting nothing. So if you get even a number 9 getting service, all 3 of them weren't getting service. What was also a big problem as well, I saw the situation in the second half when Mavropanos was on. And I realised that Tadimo came off because of the yellow card as well. When Mavropanos came out dribbling with the ball, Fulcrook dropped deep, and it was an easy pass to him. But Mavropanos decided to take about 30 seconds on the ball and started to kick it into nowhere. And it took too long. It took too long. It took way too long. Big up to yourself, Carl. I hope you're doing well. In the next Prem game, you'll have Soler and Paquetá next to him. I don't think Soler's going. First of all, I don't, because Edson Alvarez just come back from an injury from the Copa America. I'm not sure he's going to start, and I wouldn't risk him against Man City in a game that I know that we're going to lose. But also Carlos Soler will have just assigned now, and he may be registered. And I don't even think he'll be registered in time because I think he would have had to have been registered before 12 o'clock today to play tomorrow. So I think he'll be announced at the stadium probably. I hope so as well. I hope they do that, but I don't think he'll play. I don't think he'll play a minute. But after the international break, no excuses. No excuses. Nothing about, but they didn't play minutes and all that. The only way you can play players that want to get the minutes now is by playing them. There is no preseason game anymore. You wanted to give Tadimo minutes, so you gave him 45 minutes against Bournemouth, but took him off because he had a yellow card. So how is he meant to get 90-minute match fit? He's not playing for France in the fucking international break. He's not even been called up because France have got bare centre backs. Yeah. I mean, next weekend, not Man City. Man City is a free hit. You either do good or terrible. Terrible. I think it's the latter. And we're going to get into the Manchester City game now. Let me just check if there's any news that I missed out on. Let's see if I missed out on anything. I have not. Perisic has gone to thing. Okay, I've not missed anything. Okay. I'm just going to check any news. But yeah, it looks like that is going to be our... what the fuck? Okay. Okay. Well, we'll see with any other news coming up. But with Carlos Soler coming in, we just need to integrate him in straight away. Paquetá, Alvarez, Soler midfield, because he's not going to play Kudus in midfield with Paquetá, even though that's what should happen, and even though that's what been discussing for the past 3 or 4 weeks now. It felt like I'm saying the same fucking thing all over again. But this manager doesn't want to go for the full throttle. But I feel like if you want to be good in build-up, these are the players you have to play in their positions because you can't be so left-footed. Like, for example, imagine if we had signed John Duran, yeah. If we had signed John Duran and we had Kudus, Duran, and Bowen, that is so left-footed as it is. And it's already becoming too left-footed as two wingers. So with Fulkirk there, it gives you something different, using his right foot as he should. But then you got Somerville, who can cut in with his right foot, and he didn't play bad. He didn't barely got the fucking ball. The other day, yeah, he wasn't signed by 12 p.m., so I don't think he's gonna play. Ex-West Ham employee was hinting at a Carney move earlier. I don't think it will happen now. Yeah, he even said it was an alternative option. Like we haven't even got the Carlos Soler contract signed yet, so we're like, and there's 20 minutes left. There's 20 minutes left. So what? Soler is a straight loan. What the fuck? Oh, for fuck's sake. So what the fuck are we gonna do next season then? Oh, I hope he plays well. But then again, even if he plays well, yeah, PSG could be like, okay, that's another 10 million, please. That's another 10 million. That's so fucking stupid. To get a straight loan for a player that doesn't play in the Premier League, at least they have his first season. How are we gonna do this? Head lost together. I'm raging now at directors. Is that because of the Osimhen deal? But seriously, that is shit. Soler Award Prowse? I don't know. I just can't remember the time. I don't know. I'm gonna assume Soler if we believe in him that much. Oh, Sterling and Osimhen. What's going on with Sterling? Is the Sterling deal broken down? I've got bad notifications on this. What the fuck is going on? But we'll see about that. Like the problem is with this Carlos Soler thing now is you can't have someone that hasn't played in the Premier League on a straight loan, no option or obligation to buy, if they need to get used to the league. Because he's going to naturally need to get used to the pace of the fucking league. But if he does play well, PSG could be like 30 million, 40 million, whatever it is. And they can make more money from that. It's going to be harder to negotiate for next summer if he does well. But then again, I trust Steinen to get better deals done. So, whatever. At least I can at least trust the people upstairs to now do what they can to get the deal done. But I don't know. I don't like the fact that it's not even an option to buy. Like, I forget an obligation, an option would have been fine. But fuck's sake, that's not ideal. That's not ideal at all. I don't like that at all. Sancho's going for 25 mil. I think so. I think the Athletic reported that. Yeah, no chance. The Carl, no chance. Aguerd was not at his best. The transfer is fine for me. The transfer is fine for me as well. But it's just the fact that we haven't got a replacement in. So that's my main problem with that, is the fact that we haven't got anyone in to now replace him, because if you look at the time now, it is 20 minutes until deadline day. Unless you're going to sign some local man off the street, you're not going to get the deal done over the line. I would have liked a centre back. I mean, unless he trusts in Kalen Casey to come in, who played better at right back in preseason, and he didn't actually play at centre back at all in preseason, believe it or not. Then it is what it is. But and Edson Alvarez, yes, can play centre back as well. Apparently, that's not come from the club, but has come from a top transfer source. Oh man, joy is Charlie. Like, I think we can. Sorry, 20 to 25 million. Okay. Oh, yes, fucking yes. And it's nothing to do with West Ham. Sorry, Jonathan, but I have to. Um, Deal completely off for Victor Osimhen, according to Fabrizio Romano. No agreement with Chelsea and Napoli. Delegation now leaving Napoli. This guy, the joy is Fabrizio is trying to type that quick, that he's getting sentences all wrong. Luckily, he has the fucking Twitter blue thing, so we're going to see 3 versions of that tweet. Him eventually getting it right. Sorry, bro, but I have to dunk on you for that. If nothing happens from Saudi next 3 days, Osimhen will stay at Napoli, but he's not going to be part of the first team squad. Relationship completely broken. That's fucking that. I'm so happy. I'm just going to put in the chat that I'm in. No, actually, no, I'm not. I'm not going to say anything actually, but okay. At least there's some good news from that. But to be fair, I'm not really gonna complain about much today because I wasn't expecting anything much. But the Naya Aguerd thing, I wanted a centre back replacement. So let's say we have a centre back crisis. Edson Alvarez will probably play there, or we bring in a youngster like Kalen Casey. Let's just hope that we don't have a centre back crisis, and we don't even know if the Naya Aguerd deal is going to get over the line. They might ask for an extension. He might already be in Spain. I don't know what's going on with that. I would love to know what's going on. I don't know why we haven't had an update in hours. As much as I don't want him to say I want him to leave, because I don't think he's good enough. I've been slandering him for the past year and a half, but this is just the worst time for him to leave. Like, we've left it until the 30th of August. Like, they have done the football manager offer via transfer room tactic for about a few weeks, and they've finally got offers. And they've decided to offer him a loan because they couldn't offer him via permanent transfer. Would have liked a permanent transfer as well, but I guess that's money we could reinvest into next season when he eventually goes. Then people are like, "Oh, never forget revival, never forget revival." The guy's not good enough, bro. It's not. It would. Do you know what it was? Yeah, I could understand if it was the system. If we saw a new player this season, and even in preseason, the guy's not physically good enough. Did anyone not see in the Betway Cup that this guy was not good enough either? Like, the guy took so long to get rid of the fucking ball that it literally became a turnover for, was it Celta Vigo that we faced, for them to score. That was all him. That was all him. Could have cleared the ball a long time ago. And I don't like people when they just clear the ball for the sake of it. No, we're getting Soler because we can ask for an extension, because that's what they do throughout the transfer window. They just ask for an extension, and all he has to do now is sign a contract. And they're just going to tweak the contract a bit, and then he'll sign. And listen, if it breaks down, then we're fucked. We're completely fucked, because Irving still has zero chance, even if both of those things have happened, because this manager, he plays number 28. If he plays number 28 throughout the whole season, and that the solo was to break down, which I don't think it will, then we're fucked. Then we're completely fucked. And this manager will lose his job quicker than he thinks. And I've been saying that for a few weeks now, but unless we was to play Alvarez and Rodriguez and just switch it up a bit. But even then, it wouldn't be great, but it would be better than what we're doing right now. Because Rodriguez isn't exactly silky on the ball or anything. He just does the basics right on the ball, and he can win the ball back quite easily. But that's the manager for you. We're coming up to 17 minutes away from, or 16 minutes away from the transfer window closing. So I'm going to get into the Manchester City game, and we're going to preview that. Obviously, we had Hamza on yesterday, so big up to everyone that watched that stream, and big up to Hamza for jumping on as well. Make sure to subscribe to his channel. It was great to have him on just to get a Man City's perspective on things. But we're going to go into the Manchester City game, because obviously we're playing that tomorrow. I will get into lineups. I will get into the FPL section as well. And we'll stream for probably another 45 minutes, probably. I don't even know if the press conference did happen, but I don't know why they didn't tweet about it. So let's go into the news. See what the latest. Hamza is top tier football content. He is top tier football content. The guy is just passionate. He's a wind up as well. He knows how to get under people's skin. You guys would have watched him on shows already. Like, he loves the whole heritage point as well. He can really get under people's skin. So yeah, Hamza's a legend, man. Big up to Hamza. Lopetegui was in his press conference, so we're gonna go through the press conference first, and then we'll talk about the game. Okay, he said, was last night's win the perfect birthday present? That's such a typical English journalist question. It was the best present of victory that allows us to go forward in this competition, but that is the past and present to be ready for the big challenge we have in Manchester City. We have to recover. They had a day off in the week and had a big rest. We had to fight very hard yesterday. So we're already getting excuses in. We had a midweek game. That's not an excuse. We have motivation to play a Premier League match and we will recover as soon as possible to face the challenge with our best face. Is it fair that Man City have not played in a midweek? It happens and we have to be focused. We have to be ready and to use those 2 days to rest a lot and have a lineup full of energy to face the best team in the world. Again, kind of underlying using excuses. But I'm already hearing excuses. I don't want this defeatist mentality at my club. The quality of the City players and coach on top, but we are going to go on Saturday with the aim to be able to overcome an unbelievable team. He hasn't beaten Man City, but I don't think he beat Man City when he was at Wolves before. He beat Liverpool at home at Molineux, but I don't remember him beating Man City from what I remember. I think they actually got battered when they played there. Team news focusing on Cresswell and Alvarez. Oh, yeah. Listen, I don't think we're going to get smacked up via scoreline, but I think we'll probably lose like 3-1. That's been my score. I think the same as last year, 3-1. I don't think they'll get us necessarily on the flanks. But it's Haaland, bro. Haaland, and it's going to be the midfield. De Bruyne. Oh, you've got Haaland captain. Fair enough. You're shameless. I hear it. But honestly, I've got Savio. To be fair, I've got Savio in my team. I didn't want to put Haaland in because it would just take up too much of my money. But then again, I'm doing shit without Haaland, and everyone else is above me in FPL. Team is focusing on Cresswell and Alvarez. So Cresswell's out for. Well, they're waiting for a scan, so he ain't gonna play anyway. So I don't care about Aaron Cresswell, and I didn't even want him here in the first place. Well, his contract renewed in the first place. Edson has been out for 3 months, so it's not easy for him. It was his first match in the lineup, and he showed big energy. He's going to need time to adapt to recover his best fitness, and he's going to do that step by step. I want to rush him back. I don't want him to rush back. I don't know if he's been called up by Mexico. Let me know if he's been called up by Mexico for the international break, if anyone does know. But I hope he's not, because then he could just rest at Rush Green, which would be the perfect scenario. But we'll see. On a transfer window, we don't need to read about that because we already know what's going on with fringe players. I'm not going to talk about names. All of them are in our squad and ready to play against City. I have to take decisions, but I'm not going to say here what is going to happen. He doesn't even know what's going to happen because it's been said that he does his starting 11s very late. On Jared Bowen, first of all, we are very happy for Jared. He's in the national team again and he deserves it. He's not going to play, so luckily he'll get a rest because this manager prefers Madueke anyway, and he's not better than Bowen. He is our captain and is ready to develop his responsibility. I'm very happy with his commitment. I think he's a good player. Yeah, well, we know this. On aiming for Europe here, the only thing that is important is the next match. Typical manager answer. We're taking it game by game and all this. You can be very ambitious, but you have to build it step by step. So we are like, listen, I'm going off what the players say. We are focusing on Europe. It's just the manager likes to play things down, and the media doesn't want to give the journalists too much. And the positives I will say is the way he carries himself in the media, the way we've defended is really good. It's just everything in possession and the way we approach games and the way we structured games. Been structured in games, hasn't been good enough. So that's the thing I'm really looking at, if I'm being honest. On stopping Erling Haaland, it's not about stopping Haaland, but the City team, and that's facts, by the way, because if we were only focused on stopping Haaland, there's a De Bruyne there. Obviously, Rodri ain't playing, but hypothetically, there would be a Rodri and Foden there who are both not going to play, I assume. But then again, there's a Kovacic there. There's a Savio Doku. There's a Gundogan who could come off the bench or even start. There's even a Rico Lewis that could come into midfield from fullback. This is just a dangerous team. This is no chance that. Also, Raheem Sterling is happening. Raheem Sterling arrives at London Colney training ground to undergo medical. So Raheem Sterling to Arsenal is happening. I mean, cool story, bro. And that is it. That is it for the press conference. Let's talk about the game in general. Is there any way that we could stop Manchester City? Yeah, there is a way, but you got to be very lucky and you got to have the off day, and we got to go into it to win, not to draw. If we draw against Man City, I don't care because it's not a win. I want 3 points, not 1 point. And people are going to be like, but we haven't beaten City in years. As I was saying with Hamza yesterday. But that if you go longer and longer without trying to win against an opponent, you should be even more motivated to win. Simple as that. And I know I say the phrase "simple as that" a lot, but it is quite literally simple as that. If we are able to make merch one day and make our channel a brand, that's going to be on the merch. Simple as that. But coming up against Manchester City, you got to be brave. You got to be brave. How many times have we come up against? Have you seen teams come up against Manchester City, sit back, and lose? How many times? You know why? Because that not only are they used to coming up against low blocks, but if you invite pressure on from world-class players, players that can find pockets in any sort of space on the pitch, trying to find goals and assists constantly, stretching the pitch, excuse me, then they're going to open you up. I can see us hitting them on the counter, but I think we can see too many chances to get anything, unfortunately. Here's my thing. We've defended well, but we have still conceded chances. Now, if Haaland is in a position where we've conceded those chances, he scores them very easily. I'm going into the game with no hope and no expectation, as I do with every Manchester City game. But my demands are high, my expectations are low. I demand very high of this club. I expect nothing. I didn't even expect to win against Crystal Palace. So I don't know why people were trying to expect me to go and beat Manchester City at our ground, because we haven't done that. When was the last time we beat Man City? Look, the last time we beat Man City at home was 10 years ago. It was like 14-15 season. And you're talking about City in general. It was away from home with Dimitri Payet. But when we beat them at home, we had Diafra Saka and they had Manuel Pellegrini in charge. A lot has happened since then. Like a lot has happened. In the 2014-15 season, I was in year 7. I am now 21 years old. A lot has happened since the last time we beat Manchester City. A lot. Like, fucking people have invested into crypto since then. Like, bro, people are... Actually, I can't say that. I can't say what I was about to say, but I was about to say something mental. But Instagram has blown up since then. Let's go for something more PC. YouTube has changed a lot since then. A lot of things have changed since the last time we beat Manchester City. It was a very long time ago. We've never beaten Pep Guardiola in the Premier League. And just in general, because that's the only times that Pep Guardiola has faced us. But our only goals have been in transition or a penalty. So we can hit them on the counter because they will allow space and they don't have Rodri to, stop them counter-attacks to win the ball back. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter because Bowen and Kudus are going to have to take on 3 or 4 players, and they're all Manchester City players, and they will occasionally get chances. But against Man City, you're gonna get like 2 chances, and you have to score in one of them. And tell me I'm lying by saying that. Tell me I'm lying. You gotta be the first time you get put through on goal, you have to finish it. You have to finish it. So that's gonna be the main problem for me. That's gonna be the main problem. Like they're gonna create so many chances. Like for me, if a team is good on the ball, this is the way I think of it when it comes to football. If a team is that good on the ball and that good at creating chances and that good at passing, you stop them having the ball. Now, naturally, you're not going to have the ball more than Manchester City, but make sure you're pressing them into their own half rather than letting them into your half where they're more likely to get a chance. Meaning Wan-Bissaka, let's say it's probably going to be Mavropanos again, Emerson and Max Kilman are going to have to be involved in the game for 90 minutes, which is going to be mentally tiring for them. Their biggest weakness is their keeper, so if we get chances, I back us to score if it's on target. Yeah, Sterling is at Arsenal for a medical car. Yeah, just talking about that not that long ago. But yeah, that's the thing. Like Edison's actually quite good at saving the ball. It's just we've come up against him in the past where we could get at him. And also, it says a lot about Man City if their keeper, with how good he is their biggest weakness. That's how good they are. That's how good Manchester City are as well. I would play. Actually, I'll get into let me set up the lineup thing, and then we'll get into lineups. But it's going to be hard to even break through them. It's going to be difficult to even get the ball off them. But if they have the ball, make sure they have the ball in their own half. Press them into that. Win the duels and then attack. Press them. I want us to go with the same philosophy because that's what we're meant to be doing. Installing a philosophy into the team. So we approach games in a similar manner. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Well, nothing to do with West Ham, but Reece Nelson's deal to Ipswich has been hijacked and he's now going to Fulham. Deal sheet being submitted to get deal done in time. So Reece Nelson's going to Fulham. Obviously, he was offered to us apparently as well. We were one of the 4 clubs interested, and that deal would have made no sense. I would have taken it. We were interested in him around the Somerville times, and I would have taken him then. But now, in hindsight, I would have never taken him compared to Somerville. If Rico starts on the right, I think Kudus will cook him when given a chance. That's the thing. Rico Lewis is a very good player, so it won't be easy. But you are right. I think if you like with how good Kudus is 1v1, that's our best chance, isn't it? That's our best chance. I forgot to change formation on here. Hold on. How do you change formation? Oh, fuck. How do you do this? There it is. Okay. That's how you do it. Okay. Big up to Fuego as well, bro. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, we're going to get into the lineup section of the previews. Make sure to like the video, guys. Make sure to like the video. And share it to someone that isn't subscribed because I know everyone here is subscribed because you guys are the regulars. But let's get into the lineup, people. We're probably going to line up in the same 4-3-3 as we've been doing. In goal, speaks for itself. Areola. People are going to be like, why wasn't he on the bench? Because it was a cup game. Why is it cup? Oh, this fucking autocorrect shit is pissing me off. Areola starts in goal. And this needs to be the change. I'm going to go specifically from Crystal Palace when talking about the changes to the lineup. It has to be Wan-Bissaka because that's going to be a key battle towards trying to stop them is Aaron Wan-Bissaka coming up against Jeremy Doku, a man who played really well. It was actually really good to get Hamza on the channel yesterday because he actually gave really good insight into Aaron Wan-Bissaka yesterday he actually knows his family and his friends, funny enough. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all, but when Hamza said that, it was actually very good to get his insight on Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and he's very key towards this. He played really well at left back as well. So if Emerson does ever get injured or suspended, we know we can put Aaron Wan-Bissaka there instead of Aaron Cresswell. We don't need to play Aaron Cresswell, and then again, we'd have to see Vladimir Sufa on the right, but you know what I mean. But I'd rather play dead people than Cresswell and Sufa and at fullback, but that's just me. Because it's almost like we're playing with 9 men and 2 defenders anyway when them 2 ugly twins play. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's renowned for being a very good 1v1, renowned for, all the stuff that we already know about him, and really be really good in big games as well. And he's gonna have to be involved in the game a lot more. The thing is, he was actually getting got at a little bit 1v1 in the Bournemouth game, but he was actually really good in possession, playing out from the press and stuff as well. His passing isn't the most consistent and isn't the greatest, but he has to start with his Crystal Palace impact and his impact against Bournemouth as well. He has to start. Now, for me, going off the way Mavropanos played against Bournemouth, I'm playing Todibo. I'm sorry, I'm playing Todibo. Like, the reason why I'm going to play Todibo as well instead of Mavropanos is because when Mavropanos came on for Todibo against Bournemouth, and as much as he played very well against Crystal Palace, Mavropanos was getting run ragged by Evan Nilsson. I don't know whether it was spotted on TV as much because I don't know why it was being talked about. It wasn't being talked about as much. But I was in that corner, in that right-hand corner when looking at Mavropanos coming up against Evan Nilsson, and Evan Nilsson was running him ragged. Completely running him ragged. By the way, everyone that's watching, put your starting 11s in, look, all in one message on what the starting 11s you put out against Manchester City. I'm trying to see you guys put your starting 11s out as well. Haaland's run versus Mavropanos. Oof, exactly. Todibo has to start. And listen, I mentioned this in the Bournemouth match reaction as well. Todibo starting against Haaland as his first Premier League start and his first 90-minute game for West Ham is also we're putting him in a really dodgy situation. We are. Don't get me wrong, we are, and I'll happily admit that we are. But you got to play your better players against Manchester City. You have to, and he's key to that. He's got pace as well. He like, for example, if we're in a situation where Haaland's running in behind, Saliba will catch him. He was like from the 45 minutes we saw, he's rapid, and he's much more comfortable on the ball than our players are, than the midfielders. Do you know what I really feel sorry for our defenders and even Sufal when it comes to this is that all our midfielders and attackers are so far on the other end of the pitch that they have to long ball it. They have to send the ball long. And that's what Saliba had to do. But Saliba is so composed on the ball. So composed on the ball. So I'm gonna go into your starting 11 soon, Charlie and Fuego. And I think this one speaks for itself after three borderline man of the match performances. Max Kilman, like that, this guy is like he's not gonna get dropped anytime soon. He's gonna come up against Erling Haaland, and it's gonna be very hard for him. Very hard for him, and I don't expect it. Like as much as he's played well so far, I don't expect him to do a job on Erling Haaland just because of the physicality aspect. But he's played really well, and I trust him more than anyone else in our squad probably. And at left back, it speaks for itself. We're not starting anyone else here. Aaron Cresswell's injured anyway, and I'm not starting Sufal just to put Wan-Bissaka on the left. I'm starting Emerson. Not on a wing as fucking Lopetegui was doing. I don't know what on earth he was smoking, but Emerson has played really well. He doesn't get skinned. Sufal was getting skinned against Uwatara and all the other Bournemouth wingers and Sinisterra and all these players that were coming up against them on the left-hand side. So, is what it is. But people will probably, I know some of you have already put Alvarez there. I'm going to put Guido Rodriguez there. And by explaining that, I'm going to have to put in my other midfielders as well. We don't really have much choice, do we? But everyone knows what line. This is the lineup I would play. I'm lining up with Mohamed Kudus and Lucas Paquetá in this. And yes, but it's against Manchester City. Oh yeah, because Souček offered so much off the ball, didn't he, in the past couple of games, didn't he? I mean, it's not like Ward-Prowse. I know Ward-Prowse ain't here anymore, but Ward-Prowse didn't offer much off the ball either. So people are like, but what about if we get run over? Bro, we were getting run over against Villa as well. Anana was running us over. So we might as well be better on the ball. We're not going to be better off the ball anyway with all these midfielders. And people be like, but off the ball, off the ball. I think it was Musa. Is his name Musa that was on Saeed's stream the other week? It was like, I've never heard so many people talk so much about off the ball until this era of football. And I completely agree with him. And he was talking about Mason Mount. This is a lot of people and a lot of fan bases that Chelsea have fan base had the same with Gallagher. We have the same for Souček. A lot of fans go to off the ball aspects. Now I know in Charlie in your lineup you put Rodriguez and Alvarez together, and I'm gonna spoil it. This is a lineup I would go with as well. We'll set up the front three in a second, but I'm not gonna risk Alvarez for a game that we might potentially lose because he needs to just take it easy. We gave him 50 minutes against Bournemouth, so I wouldn't start him. To be honest with you, I want him to just take it easy because this guy needs to be wrapped up in cotton wool because we're going to need him against Fulham. You know, against the Smith Rowes of the world, we're going to need him against Fulham for sure. He's going to have to help us in the games that we've got coming up. We've got Fulham and Chelsea coming up, so. And them two, that's going to be hard games. That's going to be really hard games. So, I'm not looking forward to that. Even though we do well against Chelsea at home, I think Chelsea kind of look good. You know, I do think Chelsea kind of look good, and I don't like the fact that they look good. And I have a feeling that they're going to break their streak against us, just like Villa have with their record against us, which is what I'm afraid of in a couple of weeks. I'm hoping we don't get any injuries to any key starters for that game, because that's a game I take serious, that West Ham Chelsea game not coming up in a few weeks. But back to this game, Edson Alvarez needs to be wrapped up in cotton wool. Edson Alvarez is probably one of the key members that have been saying for a few months that we needed to build the team around. The fact that he's winning the ball back, him coming to receive the ball will help us in the backs, and will help us in build up, can pass in between the lines when being the lone six. He is rash and he puts his full body into tackles. However, we need him. Scott, I think you know the answer. We were not getting Duran, and also transfer deadline day, by the way, ended 6 minutes ago. Sebastian Haller has gone to Leganes, by the way. Okay. Reece Nelson went to Fulham. Okay, I don't. This is Scott. You knew we weren't getting Durant. I know you were hoping, but you knew we weren't getting John Durant, bro. That ended a long time ago. But that is the midfield three that I'd go with, and we might as well go all out. We're gonna get a lot of space anyway, so if you're gonna have, so you might as well just go for attack with attack. What time is it in the UK? It's 11:06. 11:06 p.m. So yeah, transfer window ended 6 minutes ago, but we will still probably get the Carlos Soler deal done because we could ask for an extension and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be too afraid about the Carlos Soler thing. Just everything else, yeah. I don't know if the Aguerd thing's been done. The thing is, you're still going to hear news about transfers. So if there's like an ex-West Ham employee tweet that I need to look at, and it's that really desperate to look at, then let me know. Or does it end at 11:50? Well, I thought it ended at 11. I think it ends at 11 p.m., bro. No, it doesn't end at 11:59. It used to midnight. Deadline day time. Yeah, 11 p.m. 11 p.m. British summertime. But yeah, that's the midfield three. That's the midfield three. Let's get into the front three. Ward-Prowse probably completed his loan. Oxford Edwards completed his move. So that means we're very confident in getting Carlos Soler done. Otherwise, we wouldn't be happy with sending Ward-Prowse on loan. Obviously, the front three speaks for itself. Jared Bowen needs to come in because we're not going to play anyone else there. Fulkirk needs to come in because Antonio has been terrible. Even though Fulkirk we didn't have a full 90 minutes, but Antonio didn't even come on against Man City, so I think he's going to start against Man City. And I'd start Somerville. Even though I know he's not going to start, I would start him as well. I would be happy to see your lineup. I wouldn't mind getting Alvarez another 50 minutes before international break, try and stay in the game, and then go with your lineup in the second half. That's a good idea, to be fair. That's a good idea. I just don't want to risk him playing at all because he's just come back. But I hear you. I think what you said is quite sensible as well. It's going to be interesting to see if we're down in the game by like a goal against Manchester City to see what the manager's like with subs. To be fair, the manager does make subs, but his subs can even be really good or really questionable. Okay, so it's good. I forget you're Mexican, so you would let me know about this. Fuego wasn't called up for the national team start. Okay, I don't know about starting, but he could get like a full rest for 2 weeks so that we can have him for Fulham. That's the way I'm thinking, because otherwise, if we play him too soon and he got that big injury, we could lose him again. And listen, Rodriguez is fine to step in, but just Alvarez is just different. He's way better than Rodriguez. But talking about the lineup here, especially with the front three there, Somerville cutting in onto his right, Bowen cutting in onto his left, Fulkirk starting in the middle, trying to drop deep and bring defenders out and putting the ball in behind. If we give him the fucking ball, that would be ideal for me. That would be very ideal for me. And we need to give him the ball. We need to give our attackers the ball. That's how I play. I just go for it because how many times have we come up against Man City, sat back and lost? Name me a time when we pulled off a fucking masterclass against Man City. Even the 2-2 game, we bottled it. And I'm going to get into Lopetegui's preferred lineup as well. Thoughts on Aguerd? Aguerd is shit, mate. Aguerd is not physical enough when it comes to strikers. So he kind of gets out-muscled very easily. Is quite overrated on the ball as well. Not exactly the ball playing centre back that people thought he was. Not great at a press when playing on the ball. His long passes ain't great. His short passes he takes too long on the ball, and his short passes are very wayward. Any sort of striker with any like physicality, he will struggle against. So I'm not too bothered, even if that deal gets done over the line with Sociedad and stuff. So, okay, Charlie, you think his lineup will be Sufal, Maverick Panos, Kilman, Emerson, Edson Alvarez, Souček, Paquetá, Kudus, Antonio, and Bowen. Yeah, if we line that up, we're fucked. That's the thing. Santi JFM is not the most reliable, but he probably will complete his thing. I thought he was good, to be honest. He was probably good at Rennes, but I didn't watch him at Rennes. But he hasn't been good for us. He started off well. He actually started off well when he came back from his injury, but then he just went downhill. Like from the start of last season, he's been shocking. But let's get into what Lopetegui would line up with. Now, what I think is going to happen out of the lineup that I've said, what's going to change? Now, I'd like to, Charlie, I have a weird feeling that Soufal is still going to keep his place. But just out of pure hope, I'm not going to change the Wan-Bissaka place. But what I think is going to happen is, how do I get rid? Okay, I'm just going to circle it here. Mavropanos will start instead of Todibo. What's it called? Kudus will start on the left. I think Souček will start here. And Kudus will start here. And Antonio will start. So I think his lineup will be Areola, Wan-Bissaka, Mavropanos, Kilman, Emerson, Rodriguez, Souček, Paquetá, Kudus, Antonio, Bowen. That's what I think his lineup will be. And I think with that lineup, we're going to lose. Like, we're already going to lose anyway. We're going to lose with pretty much any lineup that we come out with because I don't necessarily have this mega belief in this manager that he's going to pull off some masterclass against Pep Guardiola because he was too pragmatic against Unai Emery, for God's sakes. However, that's what we've come out with, really, isn't it? And we've seen his patterns are pretty much he wants Kudus on the left. He wants to play Antonio up front. He didn't get a minute against Bournemouth, so that just only proves that he's been completely rested for this game. He likes 28, unfortunately. He likes Thomas Souček, and he's played every minute. It was just tiring to watch. And they're coming up against Kovacic and Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. It's long for us if we play that midfield. It is long for us because there's nothing there. They're just going to be second best at everything. Like, we could get battered. But overall, I'd say we probably lose 3-1 based off all of the things that I've just said. Just checking for any more news now. Everton submit deal sheet to sign Armando Broja. What the fuck? Okay, so Fabrizio, sorry, Hado. Like, Fabrizio has confirmed it as well. That Naya Aguerd is gone, so we've got 3 centre backs for the rest of the season. Okay, then. Interesting stuff, but whatever. He clearly wants to push for a move. Oh, and the ex-West Ham employee Bomber. He has put the emojis out for Carlos Soler. It has just come out now, guys. Let me take you to the tweet. Carlos Soler has signed for West Ham. Raheem Sterling has signed for Arsenal as well. So that's good. Soler has signed his contract. Give me a second. For all the West Ham fans, it has been signed. He has signed his contract. And that's pretty much it. That's it. That's our last signing of the window. The window is now closed. And yeah, there you go. Aguerd is gone. Ward-Prowse is gone. Cornet is probably gone. And Soler is in. Isn't Foden ill? Yeah, Foden is ill. He still is not feeling well, according to Pep Guardiola. But they'll probably line up with a similar lineup to what they've had already with De Bruyne and Kovacic and Bernardo Silva with Savio, Doku, and Haaland up front. They might even play Gundogan, which would scare me even more than seeing a lineup with Kovacic in it. I'd rather they play Kovacic instead of Gundogan. But either way, that it still scares me regardless, no matter what players they play. But yeah, Carlos Soler signed. I'm sure the announcement will be is Kovacic fit? I think he did come off. He did come off injured. Actually, he might have come off injured. So maybe Gundogan will start against us. We're fucked anyway, aren't we? He's got cold feet by a super team. But listen, we've backed this manager, and don't get me wrong, he would have probably wanted another centre back now that Aguerd is gone because he seemed to have liked him. But it looks like we're gonna have 3 centre backs for the season. We've got less games, so I guess I can see why. But For I guess we'll sign someone in January, maybe on loan. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the centre back situation in the future, but I'm sure Solo will be announced very soon. From West Ham. I don't. It will probably be at like midnight or something. Give our transfer window a solid 7. Joy is, I said 8 initially, and then I put it to a 9 when Wan-Bissaka signed. I think with Ward-Prowse going, if I'm taking in all the sales we've done, with 3 centre backs now, I'll give it an 8. Well, it's announced, yeah? It's been announced? Let me go to it. So West Ham have officially announced it, yeah? Hold on, give me a sec. Oh, it says coming soon. West Ham could confirm Aguerd has joined Real Sociedad on loan. West Ham could confirm James Ward-Prowse has gone on loan. And yeah, it says coming soon, Carlos Soler. So that's 2 minutes ago. When the fuck are they going to announce him then? Probably 10:30? No, 11:30, sorry. So that's going to be probably like 13 minutes. So yeah, let me bring the tweet up actually. Let me give you guys the tweet. Okay. West Ham. But it's going to be this, by the way, if you guys are looking for a big announcement, it's just going to be the same announcements we've been doing since the start of this transfer window. But that is him. I don't know what the fuck that means. If anyone can translate Spanish. But yeah, yes, it's coming soon. It is in cursive. I can't read cursive. I was in cursive. Okay, I thought it was in Spanish. But yeah, it's been signed. I guess that's a good thing. I'm just, I don't know what it is, guys. I don't have the vibe of excitement anymore. And people are gonna be like, "What? You signed all these players and new West Ham and all that, and you won your last 2 games." But I see things with my eyes. I don't like the way we set up. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think our attackers have benefited of the football that we play. And I fear for the games coming up after the international break. This league is tough. It's Spanish. I couldn't see it fully. Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough. Also, I'm not even going to pronounce that. I did Spanish in school, but I'll share it. But I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling, oh, the sun has arrived. Okay. I don't know whether that's his nickname or some shit. And the end is hard to read. The manager doesn't excite me. I enjoy it is. Are you JLo out instantly, bro? Was you always JLo out anyway, or was it just like just see where we set up and stuff like that? Because the thing is, that would be wild to say at this stage of the season, and I don't really want to say out loud just yet, but I can understand where you're coming from. It's just the fact that we're not going to do that anytime soon. This manager needs to just play the right players. Like the problem is, I think he's too stubborn, like every manager, and I think he's too pragmatic, and I think he has this thing in his head where he thinks he's trying to be too balanced, but really he's being too cautious. I wanted a manager that was going to be a bit more brave and play better and play good football and stuff like that. And it's going to take time, of course, but he's got to allow himself and allow us to give him time. Because the reason why I'd say that is because when I see the team, yeah, first of all, he's too much focused on what he thinks is balanced. But play the right players. Bench the players that don't deserve to play. But is he going to do that? We will see after the international break, because we know that the old crop are going to start against City. By the way, if he doesn't start Aaron Wan-Bissaka against Manchester City at right back, then I have heavy doubts. Not manager out, but heavy doubts for this manager. I'm not JLo out. Yeah, fair enough. I'm not either, but I have doubts. And my doubts came from the game week 1, yes. But I saw the way we played that, and we played like we were about to play Real Madrid with how cautious we were in terms of passing the ball short for a bit, then just going long for the sake of it. Against Palace in the second half, I saw moments where we could really take it to the team. I saw against Palace that it wasn't the greatest performance in the world, and I wasn't going to overly guess it anyway. It was just a great result, but the second half I could see encouraging signs, and I like the way we started the second half, especially against Bournemouth. The first half, I saw things are okay. I saw things are okay, uh, but the lineup was all wrong. My problem is that as much as he got the substitutes right against Crystal Palace, he got the substitutes wrong against Aston Villa, and he got the substitutes wrong against Bournemouth, which is what worries me. He's either make or break with substitution. What I do like about him is that he's willing to make substitutions and willing to sub off as many people as he wants, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'd rather that than David Moyes that didn't sub on anyone at times. I just don't think he's the right guy for the team. I hope he proves me wrong, though. I hear that. He was waiting and stayed in England for a Prem job. He should know number 5 got cooked by Doku. Oh, yeah, that 1v1 last season where Sufa was hanging on to his dear life against Doku in the first half to then be absolutely cooked by him throughout the whole second half. It was just long. I'm giving him until October. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, like against Man City, it's going to be long. It's going to be long. We're not going to have the ball, and I'm not expecting to have the ball. But it's going to piss me off if we don't give everything that we've got. I'm just seeing just in case it's been announced, because Fabrizio put something about West Ham Soler joins. Oh yeah, no, he's just confirming what ex-West Ham employee has said. Man said Sterling to Arsenal. That's hilarious. But if he lines pretty much, guys, if he lines up the same against Fulham, I don't care. I don't care about international break. Unless someone is injured, you play them. If he plays the same way against Fulham or the same way against Chelsea, and we don't score any outfield goals, we've only scored 2 goals on transition. This team is much better than 2 transitional moments that were, by the way, the moves were made by both of our defenders, not our midfielders. The goals against Crystal Palace were made by Max Kilman and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They were made by both of them. Obviously, a lot more had to be done, but still. By the way, Ivan Toney to Al Ali is here we go, 40 million, because they couldn't get Osimhen, and neither did Chelsea. But yeah, that's my problem with it. That's my problem with this, is the fact that we've got. I'm pretty sure. Let me have a look at the fixtures. I'm going to go through the fixtures now, and then we're going to go through the fixtures. Then we'll go through FPL, West Ham fixtures. I don't want to look too far, but oh yeah, we've got also. By the way, the first week when we come back, we've got Liverpool in the cup, which is long. And also, by the way, the next international break, we have 5 Premier League games. That's good, actually. No, 4. Shit, it's 4 Premier League games. Okay. All right, let's have a look at this. So we've got Man City tomorrow at home. Obviously, that's probably a write-off. But coming back, we've got Fulham, Liverpool, Chelsea, Brentford, and Ipswich. This is the 4 games where you're going to see the make or break of the manager, in my opinion. You're going to see the make or break for a man who we'll see what kind of lineups he's going to line up with in terms of the context. You're going to see how the team's going to be set up and whether that gives you any sort of encouraging signs for the season coming up and for the situations that we're going to be put in, whether it's severe under pressure or whether we're going to be really taking it to teams. Yeah, he's staying at Napoli, but he's not training with the first team because apparently the relationship between him and the board and the higher ups have been really broken up. So look, and because they've signed Lukaku already on a permanent, I don't think Conte gives a shit about Osimhen because he loves Lukaku, which is kind of mad because they've kind of waited all this time to sell a guy and nobody wanted to pay the money. Thing is, I don't want to be careful what you wish for crap when people tell you we should have kept Moyes crap. Yeah, but they know nothing about football. Like, this is the thing I said when the manager came in. Even if the manager was to fail, it has nothing to do with David Moyes because it's a separate entity. Just because a manager does shit now doesn't mean you should have kept the manager that was doing shit before the current manager, which is stupid. Yeah, 3 weeks. I hate this 3 international break shit. I said this. I said this. What was it? 2 streams ago. You get 3 games in international break. You get another few games in international break. Another few games in, and another international break. And then in a normal season, you would get winter break after the 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 big December bunch. But we're not getting winter break this year. But then you settle in after the winter break, and then guess what? Another international break into March. And then you just get to settle in for the rest of the season. That's why the best part of the season is probably March till May. It's the best parts of the season is the first game of the season, the big Christmas schedule, and then from the thing from March to May. That is the best parts, but you don't get to settle into the season. Don't get me wrong, we're gonna watch a different England, but I don't really care about England. not in international breaks, man. I don't care. I don't care. It's international friendlies as well, I swear. Is it friendlies or fucking qualifiers? I don't. Either way, I don't care. I don't give a shit. But going into this year, let's say we perform really badly against Fulham away, or we have a continuous pattern of negativity and the same criticisms that we're going to criticize throughout these 4 Premier League games, especially. Our solo video has been announced, yeah? I'll watch it later, but let me just have a look to see if it's official. Oh, yeah, it's been completed. Carlos confirmed. Cool. It's been announced. That means he's a West Ham player. I guess we'll go into that as well. I guess we'll talk about that on the stream as well. But big up to Fuego as always. Could a second bicycle kick? Listen, that would be a dream. Another bicycle kick. Kudus loves a bicycle kick, by the way. He scored 2 last season. Scored against Brentford and Man City. Solo over 28, no excuses. That's the thing as well. If we go to these 4 games and I see 28 start over Solo in most of the games, then I know what to think of this manager. If I see the similar thing to Moyes, where he wants to shoehorn 28 and Paquetá and a new signing, and he puts Paquetá on the left, I'm manager out. It's this is the thing as well. I want to see players in their right position as well. I want to see players play in their right positions. As Charlie said, the quote from Lewis, and he said this a lot when Pochettino was there. Big up to Lewis as always. Trust the progress, not the process. We need to see progress. You need to see something to be encouraged by. Like, that's what all fans should be. And I was willing to give patience, but I thought we were going to see many more different things. And I was encouraged by the preseason. Yeah, he's an 8. He's an 8. He's not a 6. He can play the pivot as an 8. He can play the midfield 3 as an 8. He's an 8 and a 10. He's not a left winger. I don't know why people still put him in the left wing for lineups. He's not a left winger. Like, we need to stop this. I hate the fact that Moyes put him left wing because it's convinced everyone that he's actually some fantastic winger. You don't put your most creative player on the wing. We don't have a midfielder like Paquetá, so don't shoehorn him out wide. But yeah, also within the international break, I'm going to try and get people on for one-off shows just to talk football and stuff. I'm going to try my best, but we'll see what we can do with that. I'm going to try and get a West Ham fan on as well. So we'll see what can happen with that. We'll see how we can develop the channel in a few weeks. But these 4 games after Man City are crucial. Now, yes, the Liverpool game is crucial for me as well. But I know to a lot of fans, they're going to make the same excuse about, but it's at Anfield and all this. We did expect to win anyway and blah, blah, blah. I don't care about the Mickey Mouse Cup like we've ever won this cup. We've never won this cup. So I don't know why you guys are so arrogant and so above yourself about this cup. It's an important cup. And listen, I thought the same thing. I had the same mentality like 4 years ago. But at the same time, as much as we can't really take this cup much seriously anymore because of the way we've been set up and the way the big 6 teams have gotten away with it and the teams in Europe have gone away with it, at the same time, it's still a cup to go and win. and cups are there for shocks. You need to go out and shock. So that game is still important for me. But yeah, let's get into. I was gonna get into FPL. We'll get into. I'll get into Carlos Soler afterwards. We're gonna get into FPL first. Give you an update on who's doing well in the GVO Mike's Community League, and then we'll get onto Carlos Soler because Carlos Soler has been announced as well. Okay, all right. Let me just log into my email. Make sure to smash the likes, people, and subscribe if you are new. The social medias are GVO Mikes on all platforms. So if you want to follow me there, feel free. Okay, let's get the league up quickly. The GVO Mike's Community League. Now, unfortunately, I am shit at this, so I am in the bottom 6. I am 17th out of 23 people in this league. In my own league, by the way. Look at this. Kyle, I know you're watching. You're below me. Unlucky. But in my own league, I am 17th. I am 17th. Why? I don't ever win any sort of FPL league. And that is painful. That is painful. I'd love to win the Carabao Cup. So would I, bro. But the way the team's set up in Cups now just favors the big teams. It's a joke. I agree. I didn't even know about that until a Man City fan came in my chat and said that. But yeah, if you look at the league at this current moment, Jonathan's dropped down to 12th. Charlie's dropped to 7th. You had this changed name thing because I'm assuming your name was too offensive and they. What was your name before they changed your name? Because I had this a couple seasons ago. My name was changed name for the fucking whole season. But big up to John. John pops in now and then in the chats. John is at the top with 154 points. Eric is 1 point behind. Already 154 and 153 points. But that is what the current league is saying within the FPL. And I don't want to be 17th. I don't want to be in the bottom section of my own FPL league. So, yeah. Let's get into Carlos Soler. Okay, let's go to West Ham. And they'll probably have the stuff on their website, as they always do. Give me a sec as well. We're going to talk about this, and then we're going to end the stream after that. Will Prowse joins thingy on loan. Okay, let's read what they're saying on the thing. 28 needs to be frozen out of the team. That's what would have been the best thing to do. I get we needed funds to bring in another midfielder in. So I get that's why they did it. And I get that's a logical thing to do as well. But if he's really not going to fit the possession-based style of play, then you don't play him. You don't play him. Simple. West Ham is delighted to announce the loan signing of Spain international midfielder Carlos Soler. The 27-year-old becomes our 9th signing of an exciting summer transfer window, joining from the French champions PSG on a deal until the 24-25 season. It's not permanent, though. Capped 14 times by Spain, Soler made his breakthrough with his hometown club, Valencia, where he debuted at age of 19 and quickly established himself as an integral member of the side which qualified twice for the UEFA Champions League. Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember that name. Sure. The Premier League really don't want these dodgy names in the thing now. Like, bro, they did that to me. I forgot what my name was called a couple years ago, but they did me like that as well. But I think it was a similar joke. I think I made a similar joke, bro. I would love to see Joe Gomez come to West Ham. Sure, we were interested as well. Yeah, Petr Cech, she's 18. That's a funny name, man. They don't have any sense of humor. With 226 appearances at the Copa del Rey winners medal under his belt, he moved to PSG in the summer 2022, where his honours continued to flow, Liga titles and blah, blah, blah. Soler says, I'm really excited to be a West Ham player. It's been a dream of mine to play in the Premier League, and to be doing it in London with a club like West Ham is an incredible feeling. I can't wait to feel the support of the fans who I've already heard so much about. Conversations with people who know the club, like my good friend Pablo Fornals. Oh yeah, I forgot he's friends with Fornals. I don't know whether they played together. I don't think they did, but that makes sense. Spanish and all that. Oh, Spanish friends. I'm excited about meeting my new teammates and giving my all for the club in the best league in the world. Everyone says that. January will sign more players. Ings, Antonio, Irving leaving. Don't think Antonio's going to leave. But Ings surely eventually will have to know that he has to leave. I think Ings' contract might run out this year or it's next year. So he's going to leave next summer, I think. Yes, he's still going to be here. It's either going to be. I think Irving has to leave, just because Irving's going to have to realize that he's not going to play. He's not going to play, so he's going to have to leave. It's always been a dream of mine to play the Premier League. Tim Staden is thrilled to conclude this summer's transfer business with the arrival of Sola. We are delighted to welcome Carlos to West Ham United. We've reminded him for some time, and whilst we've had to wait for until the final day of the summer transfer window to secure his services, we're really pleased to have him on board for the remainder of the season. He's a really talented player who will undoubtedly add quality to our midfield department. His ability on the ball is unquestionable, and we're excited to see him in the West Ham shirt. He added, "He's our ninth signing of the summer, and we're indebted to the board for their support throughout the window. We're delighted that with the business we managed to complete, and I'm sure the fans are as excited as we all are for the remainder of the season." Well, I'm going to do a video probably on our transfer business after the weekend. After the weekend of football and after the GVO show on Monday with Alfie. So on Tuesday, you'll probably get the video about our business and stuff as well. It's going to be very hard to do more, videos daily and streams daily about stuff to do with West Ham outside of the transfer window, but we will see. I'm not seeing Fornhouse's comments on Insta. Let me have a look. Let's have a look. Where is this? Is this on Carlos Soler's page? I assume. Carlos Soler. I haven't seen it. I can't see it right now on the West Ham page, but I don't know. But yeah, okay. That is it pretty much going on. Leave your thoughts in the comments on our transfer window, because the window ended 38 minutes ago. We've got 9 signings in. 9. I didn't even realize it was 9 as well. We've addressed pretty much every position. We did leave ourselves a bit short on centre backs in the end, which is kind of disappointing. It does kind of deduct the transfer business as a whole. I do believe we've done really well, and this transfer window has been very exciting and very enjoyable in the end, especially when we went from the Somerville signing to the Wan-Bissaka signing. That's a few weeks where we signed all those players. That was class, because everyone saw my Fulcrook reaction. Everyone saw my live reaction to Fulcrook getting the "here we go." Like that period was really fun, really fun. Oh, on Fornow's page. Wait, he comments on his own page. Oh, you mean what people have left? What people have said to him? Let me have a look. On his latest, just make sure Chelsea don't win it again. Agent Pablo. Yeah, I mean, Fornell says, yeah, it's just flooded by West Ham fans. That's because, as much as I have an unpopular opinion about Pablo Fornell, a lot of West Ham fans really love him. And listen, I respect him. I don't love him as much as other West Ham fans do. I can appreciate what he is, but I don't know. I'm not gonna overhype him too much. But he's got one more job, and that's to win the Conference League. So Chelsea don't win it. So win it again, Pablo. Win it again. But overall, transfer window's good. I'd give it probably an 8 overall. I think it deducts it from the centre back point of view. The fact that we've still got Deadwood here, we haven't really got rid of enough Deadwood. And the one player we did get rid of, that was Deadwood, we left ourselves short. We didn't replace them as much as I wanted them to go in a play of Nair for Aguerd. And Ward Prowse, who, wasn't good enough, but is better than a couple of our existing players that we have. We've addressed some great positions. We've addressed a position that we really need, like Somerville left wing, Guilherme and as another winger as well. full crook up front, Kilman and Zadibo. The Zadibo signing was sensational. The fact that we got that deal done over the line was even just in general, a sensational piece of business. So well done to the club. Well done to Tim Snyden. Well done to everyone. And that is the transfer window done. And the centre back stuff does worry me, but we are technically short on left back as well. I think also what does take it down, and people are going to be like, "Oh, you're moaning again," but the Cresswell contracts renewal does take it down. We could have got someone in on loan if we were really smart, but yeah. No, but listen, bro, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not even going to comment. I'm not going to comment. I respect him. I think he's a cult hero, but I think a lot of fans. That's the thing. That's where people go too far. No. But I'm not going to debate about this. I can't be asked. I did this throughout the whole of the time that he was here. Any news on Cresswell? He's going to get scanned probably. I think he got scanned today, so I don't know what his injury is saying, but yeah, I'm going to leave it there, people. I'm going to leave it there. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you are new. The social medias are in the description if you want to follow me. I think they are anyway. And email for the inquiries. And yeah, I'm going to see you guys later. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the match reaction. The match reaction to the Manchester City game will be tomorrow at 10 p.m. At 10 p.m. We'll try to aim for another 10 p.m. stream tomorrow. But yeah, be there for that because yeah, we will be there. And hopefully it's a win. I'll see you guys later.